Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where Josh Waters has just been celebrating victory in race 2 in the wet, but the undisputed winner of the weekend. And the king of Brands, a return for this famous trophy, is Shane Burns. Excuse me, ladies. Shaky 6 in race 2 there after your second place in race 1. It's not been a bad weekend after all.
No, do you know what? It was quite a difficult race there, a second race there, because none of my sort of immediate opposition, if you like, were right in front of me, and with conditions being as sketchy as they were, it was really, really difficult to sort of dig and push really, really hard. But you know, to finish in front of Josh and Keogh and the guys that I'm sort of fighting with for a championship, yeah, I'm cool with that, and I quite like that as well. It's different, isn't it? It beats the BSB ones all day long.
Yeah, it's nice. King of Brands, a return of that trophy this year, thanks to Monster, and there's been some famous names have won that over the years.
Yeah, I can't see them on here, though. I'm not sure where they're meant to be. And I'm not sure I'm going to get it on my head either, because I've got a big bar through it. But, no, it's cool. I'm happy with that.
I'm not sure you're supposed to do that. But Shaky now, a couple of weeks off till the next round at Thruxton, and we're going into that one in good shape.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the team worked really, really well this weekend, because it was another difficult weekend to start with through qualifying and stuff, and they pulled something out of the bag for the first race, and that went okay, and I was kind of hoping to go one better this afternoon, but yeah, to finish in front of all the guys that, like I said, I'm sort of fighting for a title with was good.
Thanks, Shane. Enjoy your weekend off.
Thank you very much.
OK, let's get out to the grid now then. It looks like the sidecars are going to start slightly later than planned. It looks like we're going to have an 8-lap wet race. Let's join James Whittam and Barry Nutley.
Well, it's I can tell you, I've been out on the grid and it's not totally wet.
No, it's not. It's dried out a lot, Barry, in that last Superbike race.
And what's going to be interesting is that the pole position man, Sean Hegarty, who won yesterday's sprint race, has got an intermediate on the rear. Lovelock has got a slick on the rear. The two boys behind are running full wets. So it's a complete mixture of tyre choice out there.
How did the sidecars go on for kind of mixed tyres? I'm thinking it's probably easy to control a sliding sidecar at the rear than it is a solo.
I think the most important thing is that they've got plenty of drive and grip on the back end. You know, that's the important thing, certainly. But Andy Peach there had a disastrous day yesterday, so he's going to be starting from the back of the grid.
I saw him actually go past me in pit lane and the bike just stopped completely. I don't know what, the same fuel pump maybe?
Fuel pump, it was, yeah. There's a little fuel pump in there that sort of primes the major one.
Yeah.
It was the one that gets it out of the tank is the problem, or the foam box.
The feed pump.
The feed pump, that's the one. So a bit difficult. We've got a couple of people starting from the back of the grid. Andy Peach, of course, being one of them. He's got to try and salvage something. Ben Holland and Lee Watson on the Finning Cap, yellow and black bike there, were going really, really strongly. And a bit of a coming together saw them punted off into the gravel yesterday. It was nearly handbags at dawn in the pits, but not quite.
It surprises me that, because most of these sidecar lads get on really, really well. They've got their own little click in the paddock.
Well, Mark Edwards had a bit of a lunge up the inside, and well, that's what happened. Anyway, there you have it. Hegarty going very, very well. Lovelock and Alto, the main threat to him. Andy Peach has got to do something, because he's now only 1 point clear of Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett, who profited yesterday because of Holland's misfortune. Chaplow's still in 5th there, and a bit of a breather from Ricky Stevens, who was on the podium yesterday as well. So he'll be starting alongside his teammate Mark Edwards on row 2. Ben Bygrave, Justin Sharp going strongly. Tony Brown had a problem. He didn't score yesterday, but if he's got it fixed, watch out, because Graham Muller, sadly, has retired.
Oh, okay.
So he won't be scoring anymore. Kershaw, Wilson, they were strong yesterday. Horsepole, and John Holden had a good result yesterday as well. Barry James, his passenger damaged his ankle, so he's out of it. And there we have it. Everybody's got some points. The Dutchman there, Kees Kentrop, with Ilse de Haas, a young lady, doing the honours today. Auntie, as it happens, to Danny de Haas. So there's your grid. Hegarty and Neve, Lovelock, Alto, alongside and slightly behind. Then the Stevens and Edwards, they are teammates. Assured Offer Solutions, Kawasaki, 3rd and 4th on the grid. Bygrave and Sharp with Chaplow. A proliferation of Kawasaki's there, but then suddenly we get the Suzukis. Holden and Kershaw down from Scotland, sponsored by Blink Bonnie Quarry.
And is it the case, like the solos, that will favour, these conditions will favour a kind of hero, somebody who'll have a bit of a lash that you wouldn't necessarily think of?
It could easily, but I think what they'll be trying to do is erode this man's points advantage.
Yeah, because he's had a good season so far. He's only been beaten in one race, I think.
He's almost stepped into the vacant boots of Tim Reeves when it comes to the British Sidecar Championship. So they were close yesterday. They were right on him for half the race distance, but it's an 8-lap race, so it's the guys have been waiting all day for it. We saw what happened earlier when the heavens opened. And that track out there is going to favour the brave. And I just think Lovelock's gamble of a slick tyre could pay dividends here.
I think you're right. I think it's, well, they'll know now because they've done the warm-up lap, but I saw the track drying fairly quickly while the Superbike race was on.
It drains well here, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It's camber on it. It does drain well. Away they go. The lights are out. Hegarty moving across because he knows where Lovelock will be coming from. Into an immediate lead, the pole position man. And the assured office solution, Kawasaki's are in line astern. That's Edwards and Stevens behind him. There they are, the teammates. Gary Horsepole there with the yellow helmet. Oh, already Hegarty stretching out, but a good start by John Holden on the pale blue bike there. Lovelock and Aki Alto, his Finnish passenger, second in the standings at the moment on 152 points. Look at Ben Bygrave, the number 74 Blue Machinery Suzuki. Holland goes through. Ben Holland, Lee Watson. They need to do something to make up for their misfortune yesterday. They ended up 11th from a very strong second place.
Yeah, they've had quite an unlucky season, actually.
Again, moving to Kawasaki, a lot to sort out. That's the problem.
Yeah, there is. To put these engines, which are essentially our 1 litre sports bikes, into a side cave, a lot of work. You've got to revamp and rejig all the oil pickup system because you've got a lot of a lot of centrifugal issues in a side cave because they don't lean over, obviously.
Well, they found their horsepower in the intervening weeks between Knockhill and now, so they're happy with the horsepower, and it looks as though the Finning Cat Kawasaki of Ben Holland has really got it sorted now. Up to second. Roger Lovelock. That slick tyre, will it come into its own or will it not? Is 8 laps long enough for a slick tyre to work? I don't know. Hegarty's away with it on his intermediate.
Yeah, and Hegarty, you would expect that. Against slicks, you would expect the intermediate to benefit at the beginning of the race in conditions like this.
Ben Bygrave, number 74 on the Blue Machinery Suzuki. There it is. Justin Sharp hanging over the back. They are looking for that third place spot. Going to try and move through. I didn't get the chance to look at their tyre choice. It was all so rushed after the Superbike race. We had to get in here and get on with the job. And of course, the weather not improving. It's still gloomy out there.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, it's been a weird one because I expected a completely sodden track with a sharp downpour, and that never came. It's a weird one.
What was that?
Somebody's out.
That looks like the Bygrave outfit. No, it isn't. It's not the Bygrave outfit. It's one of the assured office, Ricky Stevens. Ricky Stevens, the number 100 AOS outfit. Podium yesterday, retirement today. So 0 to 0.
Yeah, and whatever it was, it's fairly conclusive. It's a big blow, whatever that, but there was no question when the hand went up, they were out.
Let's put Chaplow and Patrick Farrance on the EA Motorsport Kawasaki up to 4th. They're behind Ben Bygrave. If they can get 4th here, that will equal their best result of the season, and we're already at quarter race distance. Hegarty away with this one. There's Mark Edwards, number 8, and Kershaw, number 21, young Steve Kershaw, who took a complete season out last year for heart surgery. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it is incredible, actually. I'm not sure whether the season after having heart surgery you want to be doing this or not. Well, no, he's told his consultant.
He's young and strong and he's got the all clear. That's the main thing. So it's brilliant to see Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson, and they're riding as well as they've ridden for a long time. This could be a good result for Kershaw if he can muscle his way past Mark Edwards, and he's having a serious look. Here comes Peachy. Andy Peach on the L&W BMW. This takes a bit of saying that, L&W BMW.
L&W BMW.
You've just done it. Well done. There's Kershaw. There's Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson up the inside of Mark Edwards. Well, that's what Mark Edwards did to Ben Holland yesterday, so all's fair in love and war.
Well, I don't know what it was, you know, because, yeah, he was squeezed. There was Peach, I've got to say.
And there's Peachy now. Peach is past Kershaw. Ben Holland has now got the attentions of Roger Lovelock, whose slick tyre is possibly coming into its own here. So Ben Holland and Lee Watson. And look at the lead Hegarty has got now. And here comes Lovelock. Here comes Lovelock up the inside to second. Gets the slick-shod BMW, Driver Wolf BMW, past the Finning Cat Kawasaki.
Yeah, and I've got to say that... yeah, Holland's Finning Cat Kawasaki with the intermediate. Was it wet or intermediate on the rig? Because he just didn't have the grip at all.
It didn't. Well, they were victims of a tyre choice at Knockhill. You remember the conditions were unpredictable at Knockhill. Hill.
Yes, he were.
And you and Jack did that race, and he was a victim there of a wrong tyre choice. Now, who is that out of the running? That's, oh, yeah. Shelley Smith is the passenger, just relaxed, but Rupert Archer, not a happy boy at all.
He's not. He's gone mad, look.
Well, I hope he hasn't blown an engine, because he's done several this year, and it's a costly business. These guys don't enjoy the same degree of sponsorship.
Generally not. They generally tend to be people running their own teams, driving their own trucks, doing their own work on the machines as well.
Look at James Lee trailing his hand. Do you know Lovelock's catching? Lovelock is closing. Let's have a look, see what the gap is when they come over the line.
This is the blow we just saw. There's no smoke, there's no rods poking out, there's no fire, so it's not a massive blow up, whatever it is. But he's obviously angry about it anyway. Yeah, something's. Yeah, they're obviously running strongly. In fact, they were. Where were they? No, they were well down the order. So this is a race. Let's see Lovelock. He's coming. Lovelock is coming, definitely. Is he going to be able to do anything? We're at half race distance. Would you believe the fastest man on track, over half a second faster last lap than the leader, Hegarty, was Brown and Hawes. Well, and they're down in ninth.
Well, they're coming from the back of the grid. Oh, puff of smoke or something from Andy Peach. Or are we seeing moisture being thrown up?
Yes, I think it's that will. He went offline to make the pass, and I think that will be spray off the tyres.
There's Tony Brown, 57 on the Paymundo.com Yamaha.
The problem he's able to do lap times when he's on his own, but he's got a lot of traffic to pass.
He's gone past Ben Holland, Watson.
Yeah, he is.
He's on it. They had a problem yesterday, so he's come from the back of the grid. Tony Brown and Ashley Hawes. Ashley Hawes, a former world champion passenger with Tim Reeves. Kershaw is now by Ben Holland, so Ben Holland is going backwards in this race.
Yeah, and we think he's got a wet tyre on, that's why maybe no.
Be interesting to see. I didn't get the chance to look at that, but I can only assume he's got a tyre problem.
Yeah, he's not getting the grip, is he?
So there's your race leader, and there's no doubt that Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto are closing down Sean Hegarty.
Yep, fastest man on track last lap and fastest lap of the race is Lovelock and Alto in second.
Well, can they do it? There's no doubt that Hegarty Senior will be going frantic on the pit wall, waving the pit board at his boy to get it going, but you can see them closing.
But remember your leaders, Hegarty and Neve, have an intermediate rear, and that's going to degrade quicker than a slick on the rear of Lovelock and Alto.
They do, and here we have third place for Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson on the L&W BMW, the Paymundo.com Yamaha of Tony Brown and Ashley Hawes snaking it as they go into their... Goodness me, they were on the wet line there.
Yeah, they were, and not getting as much grip.
Holding it all together, it's about 160 miles an hour for these boys down here.
Oh, and there's smoke there. That was a lock-up from
That was
on the
definitely
brakes.
A lock-up,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that was rubber smoke. Look at this battle now. Holland leading Chaplow. Chaplow 73, Bygrave still in the hunt. Mark Edwards still in the hunt. And then right behind them, it's John Holden and Andy Winkle, former Isle of Man TT winners. So Ben Holland and Lee Watson are holding this bunch up. So who's going to ease by, and who's going to ease by first? There's Mark Edwards up the inside of Chaplow. And number 8, Assured Office Solutions, Kawasaki, Mark Edwards. They were 4th yesterday. Oh, look at Chaplow being eaten up now. This is not good news for Craig Chaplow and Patrick Farrance, but what a battle we've got, James.
Yep. Fastest man on track yet again, and now over the start and finish, and Lovelock and Alto in second, back to just 2 seconds. Look at this silliness.
Look at this. How good is that? Is there room for 5 outfits? 5 into 2 doesn't really fit, but Chaplow has got John Holden right behind him. The Kawasaki then, the EA Motorsport of Chaplow. Holden's up the inside. It'd be interesting to see what tyre Craig Chaplow had fitted as well, because I bet you he had a wet on as well. He's going backwards.
I can tell you just back at the front, we're not seeing it now, but back at the front, the lead of Hegarty is down to less than 2 seconds.
Well, we're with a terrific battle here at 3/4
There's your leader.
There's the leader, and here comes Lovelock and Alto with a slick on the rear, and there's a very dry line on the circuit. You can see it. Now, what's Hegarty going to do? Is he going to be able to hold on? Because Lovelock...
It looks like Hegarty's actually responded, because he'll be being told by his pit crew on the pit wall, because that is still about 2 seconds, and it got to just less than 2 seconds.
That'll be his father in his strongest Irish dialect writing on the pit board, I can tell you.
There you go.
No room for expletives on the pit board, but it will certainly be, come on, son, you've got to hurry up. Now, here comes Lovelock. There's Hegarty and James Neve looking to another victory. Not, well, they are dominant, let's face it. I can't say not too dominant because they've won just about everything but one race. And they were beaten here in the opening race of the season by the people who are chasing them now.
Yep, and Hegarty has responded. Now he holds the fastest lap at a 35.5. That's half a second quicker than he's done any other lap, and extended that lead out to just above 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds now.
Tony Brown and Ashley Halls up to third, but a fantastic ride by Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson. Absolutely brilliant ride for them. This is the battle for the lead. There's no doubt that Lovelock is closing.
Definitely. He's closed in the 3 corners since the start and finish when it was above 2 seconds, because that's below 2 seconds now.
So we're on the penultimate lap. We are on the penultimate lap, but where has the BMW got the legs to beat this Suzuki? And Sean Hegarty freely admitted that his bike wasn't as fast as some of those out there, so he was having to ride the wheels off it to stay where he did. But Lovelock is now almost within touching distance. If he can just keep this pressure on and chase him all the way to the flag, we could be set, James, for a grandstand finish.
Exactly. He might just have time to catch Hegarty and Neve.
Brilliant race for Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto on the Laxton Team Sport Driver Wolf BMW.
Yeah, you can see the big lump just behind the driver's head, especially on the green outfit of Lovelock and Alto. That is where the engine sits. That's the cylinder head and rocker cover of the engine. Yeah, and airbox on top as well. And you'll sometimes see the air intake at the side, left-hand side of the driver's head. It just that's where it goes in. On the last lap, have they got enough time? Lovelock and Alto. And then if they catch them, will he throw caution to the wind and try and lunge past? They're right on him on the last lap. They're as close now as they've ever been. Hegarty and Neve. Hegarty's sideways. He's no grip.
No, so his intermediate tyre is degrading. The slick rear tyre of Roger Lovelock, conversely, will be coming into its own now. Now, where has the BMW got the speed to get past Hegarty? Come on, James, can he do it?
It's going to be down the straight. He needs to get out of here pretty well, does Lovelock, and then just get in the slipstream and just hope he can get past.
Well, we're on the fastest part of the circuit now as they drop over into Pilgrim's Drop. They come down towards Hawthorne Bend, and Lovelock's looking at the inside.
And it's the big fast corners that Hegarty will suffer in most with that degrading intermediate tyre.
Oh, Lovelock's right with him at Westfield. Round they go. Out of Westfield, they'll drop down Dingledell, and the left-hander then, the right-hander, I beg your pardon, of Sheen Curve.
And then into Sterling's. He might just have enough.
If he can get the drive out of here, the drive will be on, if he's left-hander, he's driving hard on the rear. Now, if he can get the hammer down, follow him all the way down, and have that lunge into the arena, he's going to have, but Hegarty's racecraft is good, but, oh, dear me, I think he's left it too late. Look at the back end of Hegarty.
Yeah,
Come on,
sideways.
squirt it. He's right with him, he's on him, but Hegarty's going to take the victory again. Lovelock, though, shadowing home to a brilliant, brilliant runner-up spot. The frustration from the Finnish passenger, Aki Alto, if there was a speech bubble coming out, it would have been a Finnish swearing.
Yeah, they know they had the capability to win that with the tyre choice.
And what a brilliant third-place final podium slot for Tony Brown and Ashley Halls from the back of the grid. Fantastic. They're thrilled with that. Brilliant. Andy Peach gets fourth. Best result in his career, I think, in the Eastern Airways Sidecar Championship for Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson. Sensational. Waiting now, they just eased away from everybody. Where's Mark Edwards? Waiting for Edwards to come over. Here he comes. Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett on the AOS Kawasaki. Well, James, not without event, was it?
No, it wasn't. When you get a tyre choice kind of race condition, it's always interesting. We'd have liked another lap there, wouldn't we?
We would, yeah, that would have been interesting stuff.
I'm sure Lovelock and Alto would as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's the law of the weather, I'm afraid. We're smitten with the weather with the sidecars, particularly at the end of the day. But there you go, great sidecar racing. Another victory for Sean Hegarty and James Neve. Chased all the way, though, by Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto. A great one, too. What a race. Well, yeah, he's marching on now. He came here with 195 points, Sean Hegarty. He can add 25 to that, so he's now in a very, very strong position of 220. But Lovelock, by virtue of the fact he's finishing second all the time, is staying in touch. So this championship is shaping up to be a battle between those two. I can't really see Andy Peach, although he made fourth in that race, is now a few points away from these guys. So let's take a look. Confirmation of that. Well, you saw the battle at the front, and a good battle it was between Hegarty, Neve and Lovelock and Alto. 16 seconds back, Tony Brown and Ashley Hawes from Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. Those guys started from the back of the grid. Kershaw and Wilson, a brilliant result. They will be thrilled ahead of Edwards and Barrett. Chaplow and Farrance must have been tyres that dropped them back. They went steadily backwards ahead of John Holt and Andy Winkle. Brian Gray and Jimmy Connell has come down from Scotland to jump in with Brian Gray ahead of Simon Gilbert and John Allen. Bygrave and Sharp pairing obviously had tyre problems as well. They finished 11th ahead of Ben Holland. They must be devastated. 11th yesterday, 12th today. They've got to get it right soon. Their season has to start. So what's that done to the table? 220, it's a big lead, but it's not insurmountable. 172, Lovelock keeps his hopes alive very much. Andy Peach still there in touch, and we will have double points towards the end of the season. Edwards still in fourth. Chaplow still in fifth. He's got to keep scoring points. He retains his fifth place ahead of Tony Brown. Bygrave, Ben Bygrave, Justin Sharp in seventh. Ben Holland equal with Ricky Stevens. The weather made tyre choice a bit of a lottery. Some went for wet, some went for slick, some went for intermediates. No one was to know in 8 laps how the circuit would dry out, but Sean Hegarty with an intermediate rear tyre certainly got the grip off the line. Chased all the way, though, by Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto, who'd gone for a slick rear. Ben Holland and Lee Watson made the best of their tyre choice in the early stages, but it wasn't to be. As the race went on, they were gradually overhauled and went further back down the order, eventually finishing way down. But in their way down the field, they became enmeshed in a terrific scrap. Andy Peach from the back of the grid really was the first past them, and then just look at the action that ensued behind. As Ben Holland and Lee Watson and Finning Cap Kawasaki were gobbled up, the leading two, Hegarty and Lovelock, set about wrapping up the race. Lovelock, though, in the closing stages, was right on Hegarty, and if there'd been one more lap, it could have been a very different story. Next up is Thruxton, and maybe on the very fast circuit, Lovelock can finally get the better of Sean Hegarty. Tony Brown and Ashley Hawes completed the top 3 and got a nice visit to the podium for them. There's your winner, Hegarty and Neve.
Thanks very much, Barry Nutley, for that. An excellent sidecar race to finish off an eventful day's racing here at Brands Hatch. James, let's go back first of all to the Supersport feature race, which was every bit as good as the sprint race yesterday, and almost an identical finish, really, in the end, James.
Yeah, the impressive thing for me there was just how defensively Alistair Seeley is able to ride, but not have it cost him a lot of time. He can go up the inside. I know that me and James discussed it afterwards, and he was you were a little bit upset with Graham Garland just for not getting stuck in there. But I've got to say, Seeley is the master of riding so defensively and not having it cost him a lot of time all over the lap. Also, the other thing about Seeley, he's quite light, so there's times where you can just get the bike settled in, he just gets a little bit of an advantage. Just makes it very hard for Gallen to do it. I wasn't upset with Gallen either. I just wanted to, to see a bit more of a race than someone following someone the whole race. What you actually said was you and I would have had a go, but we would have been probably walking back from Paddock Hill.
Well, as it was, both Graham and Alistair brought it home, and they both closed the gap to Billy McConnell in the championship. Billy really struggled in that race today, and that gap now stands at 10 points. Alistair Seeley was 50 points behind coming into this weekend. As I said, now it's 10. Still a long way to go in the championship. Graham Garland 11 behind. Any one of those three still very, very much a title contender, and don't rule out the likes of Luke Stapleford and Luke Jones, who are both getting stronger and stronger as the season progresses. On to the Superbikes. James Hayden, you were quite chuffed with yourself after this one because you called it. Kianari came through and produced another race-winning performance.
Yeah, and I just, for that to come off the knock hill, which can be a bit of a freaky track sometimes, and to beat Shaky round here, head to head, on a race with no faults, both of them riding at the top of their game, it was a brilliant, brilliant race, and it was great fun for us. And it just really showed that he is back, he means business, and he's here to stay.
It's amazing just how much a wing can give you confidence-wise. We said that at Knock Hill, and it's proved to be the case. And you know, when Kinari's riding like this, the bike's moving a little bit, and he's just a master. Throttle control's unbelievable with Keogh.
And you've forgotten how much we've missed that, like someone, because, Shaky's so lovely and smooth and neat, whereas Keogh's a bit scruffy and natural, and it's sort of, he just has such a funky, loose style on the bike, and to see him back to his best, brilliant.
Isn't it nice as well, James, to see another manufacturer consistently up there as well, because Kawasaki have been so dominant in world superbikes and especially here in British superbikes too. Yeah, absolutely, of course it is. It's always good to get a little bit of a mix. It's really good also because Stuart Ickin might crack a smile at some point during the season. I love Stuart, but he's always a bit...
There's a lot to be said, actually, with Stuart and the boys at Build Base. Because,
brilliant team.
They've turned Keogh around as well. It's not just Keogh. It's they've managed him and cajoled him and got him in this position where he believes and he's comfy. And he said the team have done a brilliant job on my bike. So there's a lot of credit needs to go there.
He's obviously very comfortable in that team and on that bike at the moment. Nobody was really comfortable though when this happened. The black clouds came over the circuit. There was thunder and lightning, and it really looked as though the conditions were going to be dodgy for race 2. They were dodgy when we finally got around to it, and Josh Waters negotiated the waters perfectly.
Wow. Absolutely. And, do you know, I was saying to Jack in there, maybe it was because of the weather conditions that played out where Josh got that win. But you've still got to ride the bike, you've still not got to crash, you've still got to concentrate for that amount of laps, and you've still got to beat everybody else in the same conditions with the same tyres on. So you can't take anything away from Josh. Really pleased for him.
No, definitely not. And also at a point where, he really needed a ride like that. He's not had a great season. There's a lot of talk, and he rode in really difficult conditions spectacularly to take that win.
Now, let's not forget as well James Ellison, who crashed out of race 2 when it actually started first time round in the dry. James has got a fractured hip, so we wish him all the best with his recovery. He's now third in the championship, 5 points adrift of Josh Brooks in second, but no doubt about the man who came out smelling of roses here at Brands Hatch, the king of Brands now. And nice to see that trophy back again, wasn't it? Shaky Byrne leading the championship, and some more vital podium credits as we build up towards the end of the season. As you can see, the trucks are being packed up and leaving the circuit here, so all that is left for us guys to say is thanks very much for watching today. If you missed any of the action from round 5 here at Brands Hatch, you can catch highlights tonight at 8:30 on British Eurosport 2 HD. We've also got our British Superbikes Extra show. That's on Thursday night at 9 o'clock. The next round of the MCE British Superbike Championship is at Thruxton. Join us for qualifying at the slightly earlier time of 3:30 on Saturday, 2nd of August. The race is at the usual time on Sunday from 12:30. Until then, from all of us here at Brands Hatch, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.